Strong thunderstorms yet again rumbling across parts of central and eastern Kentucky. We'll focus on a short-term flash flood threat in just a moment.
We are learning more about the man who was in critical condition after police say he was robbed and then shot early Sunday morning.
Police make an arrest in a shooting they say started with a fight about a weed eater. What we've learned about the suspect.
This is WKYT News at 4.
Welcome to WKYT News at 4. Jennifer Palumbo and Amber Philpott reporting. Andrea has the day off. The end of June is looking a little stormy as we head into July.
It is. Take a look. This is a live picture now of downtown Lexington. Some scattered storms moving into the area this afternoon, and some of those could pack a punch. We want to check in first with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey. Hi, Chris.
Hi, guys. We are indeed seeing those thunderstorms going up right on cue this afternoon, and especially the farther east from Lexington, the better the chance to get in on some strong thunderstorms. And we're seeing on that eastern horizon now those thunderstorms that are building up here in our live sky cam, those towering thunderheads there in the distance. Out on the other side of town, it is 87 degrees right now. It feels like it is 93 at the airport, courtesy of humidity that is up there at 59%. East side of town, we've actually had some rain over the past couple of hours. Thunderstorms into southeastern Kentucky, still packing that punch that we talked about. A little bit of thunder and lightning left over into parts of Madison County, right on top of Richmond. Folks living out across the Lake Reba area, maybe doing a little shopping toward Richmond Center. A lot of this, give it another 15-20 minutes or so, and we'll be off to our south and southeast. Strong thunderstorms, Salyersville down to Jackson. Strongest part of that is right on top of 30 here between Jackson and Salyersville, and that'll continue to drop into parts of Buckhorn there into Perry County, southern parts of Perry County. Thunder and lightning, very heavy rain, a lot of lightning with that cell on top of Barberville here into Knox County as well, as all of that will continue to dissipate. That future hour-by-hour radar showing the deeper we get into the evening, the better the sky is going to look. Now, this is ahead of a cold front that is right on top of the doorstep, but just ahead, I'm going to show you why cold front number 2 across the Great Lakes is the front you're actually going to like. Big cool down follows that with a new hour-by-hour forecast in a few.
Chris, thank you. A Lexington man is in critical condition after he was shot during a robbery early Sunday morning, and police are still looking for who did it.
Police say local music video producer Coleman Saunders had just taken a taxi to the corner of North Limestone and East 7th Street when he was jumped by 3 men. Hillary Thornton has a reaction from a friend of the victim. It's our top story at 4.
We have learned the man that police say was robbed and then shot here near the intersection of East 7th Street and North Limestone is very well known in the local music industry, producing and directing music videos for artists like J.D. Shelburne and Sunday Best.
Coleman's helped my career. I mean, he's pushed my career to a whole new level.
That push in J.D. Shelburne's career coming from this video, he says the man behind it, Coleman Saunders, the reason he is seeing the success he currently is. Saunders now fighting at UK Hospital after being robbed then shot early Sunday morning. Saunders' friends say he takes great pride in all of his work and is overflowing with talent. The list of artists he has helped along their careers is a long one. Now they are all rallying around their friend, who they all say is a fighter, hoping he makes a full recovery.
He's definitely a guy to have on your team, on your side. You know, he's just, he's a good old Kentucky boy. That's the one thing I've always liked about him. And he was always interested in, making sure he put extra effort into making our videos always the way we wanted them. And we've become friends more than on a business relationship. We've become really good friends. And, it's just, I hate this happened to Coleman. It's just, sounds like a wrong place, wrong time situation.
Shelburne, who is from here in Kentucky but now lives in Tennessee, says he just talked to Saunders a few days ago as they were planning to work on a new music video next month. In Lexington, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
Lexington police are still looking for 3 suspects in the shooting.
Today, we have learned that a husband and wife were killed in a Boyle County crash. Wally and Jackie Bremer were in a head-on crash yesterday on Godby Lane near Kentucky 52. The emergency management director says it happened at the bottom of a hill that has a bad blind spot on a narrow but heavily traveled road. The coroner says Wally died at the scene. His wife died last night at UK Hospital. Wally Bremer was a chef at Seasons Catering.
Wally was an all-around great guy. He was always had a good attitude, never afraid to get his hands dirty. He would do anything that we needed him to do. Always asked if he could do anything else before we left at the end of the day. He just had a great attitude towards everything.
2 others in the car were not seriously hurt. 3 children and an adult in the other car were taken to the hospital to be checked out. We'll have more details on the crash ahead for you on WKYT News at 5.
Police say a fight about a weed eater landed one man in the hospital and another man in jail. Lawrenceburg police say Hugh Robinson is charged with attempted murder after he shot another man during a fight. It happened about 9:30 last night at a trailer park on Versailles Road. The victim was taken to UK hospital. His name and condition have not been released. Neighbors say they're in disbelief.
He thought that the man was kidding at first, and the man came out with a gun. He took that gun away from him and unloaded it and laid it down. And then the old man went inside his house, got another gun, and shot him through the screen of his house into his right shoulder.
Robinson is in the Shelby County Detention Center. We'll have more reaction on WKYT News at 4:30.
We are tracking some breaking business news in Lexington right now. A landmark building near downtown is going on the market. The Lexington Herald-Leader announced this afternoon it is moving its printing operation to Louisville and will sell its current building. The Herald-Leader says the move in part is due to the paper's focus on its growing digital news operations. 25 jobs will be impacted. The changes will take place in August. The Kentucky Supreme Court will decide whether Republican Governor Matt Bevin can cut the budgets of state colleges and universities. The court has agreed to hear the case bypassing the State Court of Appeals at Attorney General Andy Beshear's request. The governor cut funding to higher education by nearly $18 million earlier this year, but Beshear sued him, saying he overstepped his authority. A state judge sided with the governor last month, so now the state Supreme Court will decide. That hearing is set for August 18th. We are working on a number of other stories for you on WKYT starting at 4:30.
Sam Dick is in the newsroom with a look at some of the news in progress. Good afternoon, Sam.
Good afternoon. It is tough to spot credit card skimmers at gas pumps, and more of them are starting to pop up in Kentucky. 5 skimmers were slipped into gas pumps in Lexington in just the past few weeks. Those skimmers can steal financial information from hundreds of people. The State Agriculture Commissioner stopped in Lexington today to remind people what to look for.
I encourage Kentuckians to be on the lookout for tampered locks, doors on gas pumps that may have been pried open, and also look at the integrity of security tape, which is often attached to the panel sections of gas pumps.
What the state is doing to stop credit card skimming ahead on WKYT News at 4:30. A Lexington restaurant that was briefly closed after a customer said they found a rodent in their food is back open and celebrating. The Chinese restaurant Red Bang Bang on West Maxwell Street is giving everyone who eats there today a free meal. Red Bang Bang was closed after health inspectors found mouse droppings inside the restaurant. The inspection came at the owner's request after a customer said she found a dead mouse in her meal. After a follow-up inspection, the health department gave Red Bang Bang a perfect score. We'll have reaction ahead on WKYT News at 4:30. That's a quick look at some of the news in progress on this Monday. Jennifer and Amber, back to you.
Sam, thank you. Now some stories making headlines across the nation at 4.
In a case that's the most significant decision on abortion in more than 2 decades, the U.S. Supreme Court today struck down a Texas abortion access law that supporters of abortion rights say would have closed all but a handful of clinics in the state where abortions are performed.
Diane Gallagher has this report now from outside the Supreme Court.
I am beyond elated.
It was a victory for abortion rights supporters.
With this historic ruling, justice has been served and our clinics can stay open.
In a 5-3 ruling, a shorthanded Supreme Court decided that a Texas law placing restrictions on the facilities and providers allowed to perform abortions placed a, quote, undue burden on a woman's right to seek an abortion. Justice Stephen Breyer writing the majority opinion saying, quote, there was no significant health-related problem that the new law helped to cure. And the surgical center requirement, like the admitting privileges requirement, provides few, if any, health benefits for women. Texas Governor Greg Abbott responding, quote, the decision erodes states' lawmaking authority to safeguard the health and safety of women and subjects more innocent life to being lost. But legal experts noted it was Texas's own argument about health and safety that may have proved problematic.
This issue of whether or not these were medically necessary requirements, and they weren't medically necessary for a place, for example, that performs colonoscopies, and they have a higher rate of danger to the patient. So why, outside of being an undue burden, would the state require this for abortion clinics?
The late Justice Antonin Scalia's opinion would not have changed the outcome for this ruling, but the ruling highlighted for supporters and opponents alike how important the future of the Supreme Court will be in this year's presidential election. In Washington, I'm Diane Gallagher.
In the race for the White House, Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton campaigning just up the road in Cincinnati today. Clinton held a public event at the Cincinnati Museum Center this morning. Senator Elizabeth Warren was also there. Her name has been thrown out as a possible vice presidential choice. This is the first time the two women have done a rally together. It didn't take long for Republican Donald Trump to weigh in on Clinton and Warren campaigning together. In a tweet, the presumptive GOP presidential nominee said, in his words, "Crooked Hillary is wheeling out one of the least productive senators in the U.S. Senate, goofy Elizabeth Warren, who lied on heritage." The Dow fell more than 250 points today as the British pound hit a 31-year low against the U.S. dollar. It's all continued fallout Brexit, Britain's voting to leave the European Union. A record 43 million Americans are expected to travel this 4th of July weekend, and AAA says most of them will be driving. That begins today's WKYT Money Watch.
Lower gas prices, strong consumer confidence, and a generally healthy domestic economy have led more families to take trips this summer. AAA estimates that U.S. drivers have saved a total of about $20 billion on gas so far this year compared to the same period last year. 1/3 of Americans are seeing higher prices for prescriptions, and 1 in 6 people won't get a prescription filled because of the cost. It's recommended patients ask doctors if generic versions are available and recommended, but keep in mind even generics can cost more money when they're in short supply. Specialty drug prices are also driving cost up for everyone. Microchip implants are a popular way to keep track of our pets.
And now some people are getting them, but for a different reason. As Hannah Daniels explains, the microchips can help do everything from unlock doors to logging into a cell phone.
Tim Shank's dogs have implanted GPS chips in case they get lost. Now he has a chip of his own.
This is an NFC chip, so it's similar to what phones have nowadays.
The Minnesota software engineer had his finger cut open to put this tiny chip inside.
There is the chip,
which emits low frequencies. He programmed the chip to open his smart lock at home.
So that unlocks my door.
And manipulate his smartphone.
And it turned off my ringer.
Chrissy Heichman from Dallas has one too.
And it's just a little glass bead like the size of a grain of rice.
She uses hers instead of a key card at work. The online company Dangerous Things sells the device and an injection kit for $57. But the implants aren't being done in a doctor's office.
This is my day-to-day life.
Tattoo and piercing shops in several parts of the country are performing this procedure.
We're doing the procedure start to finish just like we would do an earring, a nose ring, a belly button ring. It's just a little piece of glass.
Dangerous Things warns customers on its site. This device has not been tested or certified by any regulatory agency for implantation or use in the human body. Use of this device is strictly at your own risk.
Most of our customers kind of understand what they're doing, and they understand the risk.
There's always a risk for infection if the procedure isn't done properly. But for Shank and others, the risk is worth the convenience. Hannah Daniels, CBS News, New York.
It's time for better living, health, education, and consumer news that impacts your life. Starting this Friday, the nation's largest health insurer is cutting the number of options available for insulin pumps for diabetics. Patients on many United Health group plans will be restricted to only 3 choices instead of 9. The move comes in an attempt to cut costs and improve care. The change is upsetting some patients who say choice is important. Teen suicide is now the second leading cause of death among adolescents. The American Academy of Pediatrics is publishing updated guidelines for doctors. The hope is that they'll be better able to identify teens at risk from bullying and problematic internet use. A new study in the journal Pediatrics suggests there may be a link between how early children achieve certain milestones and their cognitive skills later on. Researchers say children who were standing earlier than their peers often excelled developmentally.